Well, I guess one of the reasons we came to Hadar was that we had a friend who had a house in our town that was built by Hadar, and when we were starting to look at houses, we obviously went and had a look at hers, and while it wasn't the sort of house that suited us, we were quite impressed with the whole process, and she was certainly very enthusiastic about the deal she'd got from Hadar.
And she was very happy. She said there was no issues whatsoever. There were no issues, and it was enjoyable experience for her to do. So that's why we're towing the line. The same thing going with Hadar too.
Apart from the delay, which was nothing to do with the builder, it's been pretty smooth. I suppose if we go back to when we were designing the house, that's another one of the key steps, was that we were obviously building for this block. We needed to sort of have our own design, really. There wasn't anything in the standard plans that really quite suited. And we started with the best of those and then worked away from that. And there were a few sort of key moments when we sort of said, we need to change this and this. And the designer, he went away and came back and sort of looked at it and said, oh, wow, I wonder if we can afford it. That was the sort of the way it went, yeah. And the things that we wanted, and it's the interesting thing is some of the aspects of the house I realised had been designed in based on our requirements, and hadn't been specifically sort of explained to us, but they just were there, and we sort of found them later along the way. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, this first few weeks has been very exciting because there's a lot to see. I realised once the bricks are on, there's a lot of time fitting out inside, which you don't see the change. But certainly a lot of our friends have, we've got an email group out to our friends and family, and they're all sort of demanding more. Yeah.
Oh, no stress whatsoever. It's been fun all the time and excitement. In fact, I've had quite a few sleepless nights because I've been so excited and thinking of changes I might make. And then we discussed them the next morning at Breck, and Andrew says, yes, so we've made changes. And it's been wonderful. So anyone who's our age, I'm not 20, who wants to build a house, and it's an enjoyable experience, because we built one 28 years ago, and that wasn't too bad, but that was a project home. Yeah. But building a house that was designed by Hayden Moon, and it just was perfect, it's been easy, and it's enjoyable. Yeah. We don't want to stress at our age, do we?
No.
That's so true.
Yeah.
No, it's been very, very pleasant, and well, the tradespeople have been wonderful to talk to, and they've been very helpful right through. So I can't say enough.
Oh yes, they've all been good. As soon as I wandered up and they sort of work out you're their own, oh right, and they sort of stop and explain what they're doing. Yeah, it's been very good in that sense.
Yes, and the neighbours who are adjoining our land here, they've met the tradies too, and it's been a wonderful, cohesive group of happiness. Yeah. It really has. It's quite strange, because you hear people and friends have said, they've built a house and it hasn't been that pleasant. I mean, my friend in Western District, she said it wasn't a very pleasant experience, but here it's been perfect. It's just been happy all through, and the children are happy watching it. The neighbours are happy watching the progress. And the bike riders going past have stopped from time to time, so we're on a rail trail, and they've asked about the house and who's building it. So yes, in answer to your question, it's been a wonderful experience, and we've learned lots of stuff on the way. And today we just picked the PowerPoints where the PowerPoints should go, and found different places, and you can't have too many PowerPoints, and we've found new places. But it's all been fun.
No, there's certainly been things where we've had worries about should it be a different way, and sometimes we've got very strong views, and usually that's fine, and sometimes we're sort of asking the question and we talk it through, and sometimes we get advice, no, leave it that way, because there's a good reason for that. Yeah. It's been a pretty good process for us.
It was a wonderful day picking the colours with Kylie, who works for Hadar, and it was very pleasant, and it was easy. I thought I'd have the veranda post manna red, but Kylie suggested that perhaps it might be a bit too striking, so we've gone with paper bark, and I'm happy with that, because I went home and drew pictures on the plan. It looked better with paper bark than red veranda posts.
It's perfect.
I've found that choice of colours and that sort of thing, you usually start from somewhere where you've got something you like, whether it's your roof colour or your brick colour, or could be I remember in our first house we built, it was almost the colour of where it was cut out of the hill, and it was the colour of the natural soil and the bank. We sort of worked from that. And if you start from somewhere, all the other choices narrow down a bit. Obviously there are options, but there's not a huge range of options once you've decided on something.
I'm looking forward to the benches. They're going to be bamboo.
Yes.
I haven't seen anyone with bamboo benches. I've only seen brochures and on computer images, but that's going to be exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
Something
there's
different.
A few things.
Well, part of the way through, we weren't going to have it, and then after the regulations show that it would be better to have double glazing, I'm very happy about it, because I've spoken to my brother who's a builder and other people, and double glazing helps to keep the heat out in summer and it helps to keep the cool out in winter. So it's a bonus for us that we're having double glazing, even if it didn't cost that much more. But I'm very pleased with that outcome. He likes it very much.
Yeah.
He thinks.
In fact, he came back saying there's only one thing wrong with the plans. It's got the wrong name on the bottom there. It should be his name. Yeah.
Neil and Mary, not Val and Andrew. He was very impressed because he's been giving me tips along the way.
I remember a long time ago when he turned up to have a look at our other house, the first thing he turned up out with his spirit level and checking walls. And
yes.
Yeah.
So he's impressed with Hadar too.
Yeah, we did talk to other builders, and they're fine. And it just was a bit, like all these things, there's obviously a bit of competition out there, but it did end up suiting us for this build. We think we've probably done pretty well to stick with Hadar.
Oh yes, I could recommend Hadar, only because there have been no issues. It's all been exciting. And in fact, I'm close to champagne tonight. Are you?
Yeah, the frame and roof are on, and bricks start next week.
And the windows are in.
And windows are in.
I love the
Plumbers,
windows.
what do they call it? The early fit out. I'm not sure what they
The
call
rough
it.
in?
The rough in for the electricity and plumbing starts tomorrow, I think.
Yeah.
So with it all, you can get a good idea of where things are fitting already without the walls on or anything, but have an idea. And I'm very happy about this house. It's 9-foot ceilings, and the previous house had 8 foot, and I like that extra foot just gives you a bit more space. I think space is very good. Anyhow, a whole experience is a lot of fun, isn't it?
It is. It's good. It's exciting. It has. Yeah, it's been good. We've been always something to see. Been happening pretty regularly, and the tradies have been really good to talk to. So whenever we turn up and there's a new guy doing something, they're always really helpful and very interesting.
Oh, it's wonderful. And we've seen things that tradies are doing extra that Hadar do, that unless you were there seeing it being done at the time, you wouldn't notice it was being done. So Hadar just goes that little bit further and doing things that make the quality of the house look. The quality of the house is great, and the workmanship is just that little bit extra too, because I have friends who are building other houses, and this has just got that edge. And I'm not just saying it.
It seems to be quick compared to what I've seen in the past, but there's a lot of things. I mean, when you're not used to all of the things that happen in building a house, it's good. I'm finding it really interesting, to be honest. But there always seems to be something happening, and I think, from what I judge, it seems to be happening about a month quicker than what it might have been when we were talking about it right at the start. But it seems to be going well.
It is.
Yeah. I think we're lucky we had a good week, got the roof on, and the bricklayers had a good dry week, and I think that made a difference. Yeah.
And the point is, if we have any queries, Andrew has queries because Andrew's like that. He likes to know. So he just contacts Andrew, begs, or you, and straight away things are sorted and talking about things. It's okay. Nothing's too much for Begsy, and always in touch. And you're in touch with us and telling us, that you're around it. But it's wonderful.
The thing about him, I have noticed, and this is personal, is the sort of absolute respect he gets from all of the tradesmen, which is, I suspect, unusual. Yeah.
And the other thing, if I may add,
You will.
that when it comes to time to make these progressive payments, it's fun doing it, because there's not the slightest bit of problem, more payment, because we're seeing such wonderful things for our money. And getting your brother to do the solar was wonderful, because he's had to get the hot water solar changed, and you did it for with no grumping or grumbling, changed the hot water solar panel to a different position so that the solar for the house could go on the front, and look even. So that was another thing. All the little things add up, which makes everything come together happily.
Yes,
Yes.
that's been good, and the ability to just talk it over with people. Quite often, you come up and think, oh, I'd like to make a change, or you look at something and say, oh, I'm sure that should be that, and then you talk it over and you realise either, yeah, we can make a change, or alternatively, no, this is the way it ought to be, and there's a really good reason for it.
Yes. But it's a pretty house. It is. I wanted a pretty house, and I've got a pretty house, haven't we?
As long as you're happy, though.
Yeah. Coming together very well, and the kitchen going in, it's really taking form now, and the lights coming in the house in the right angles, and it's going to be a bright house, not a dark house. And the aspects being perfect because I can see the neighbours from the front very well and the back. I'm very happy with it, aren't we?
Good. Yeah, good.
Well, it's stopping me from sleeping from time to time. It's not the money. The money's not the problem. It's the excitement of seeing the house grow, because when we built a house 30 years ago, we were busy with a young family and we weren't able to follow the progress like this. So when we drive up into the main street up there and see the house in our view, I get all excited again. But it's a happy excitement and a happy discombobulation, because they say change is a big thing in your life, but this is a happy change. And the way you've adapted to the block, because the block was a very difficult shape. But it's fitting on beautifully.